The World Cup is upon us, and this is what we do here on Pillar Sport. This is what we live for. This is what sport fans absolutely cry for. The biggest competition in the world, the World Cup 2026, is here. 2 days time. On Thursday, we are going to be getting the first game to kick off the World Cup, and it is going to be Mexico versus South Africa. I know who I'm going to be supporting in that particular game. Let me know in the comments who you are going to be supporting over there. But one thing is for sure, you cannot start the World Cup without talking about how you win a World Cup, and that is what we are going to be doing for you guys right now in this video. And of course, this is a first video of a series of who we are going to be using the formula that we speak about in this video and telling you what our prediction is in winning this particular World Cup. I have a series in this particular one, and I have a prediction, I kind of model of how teams win the World Cup based on the past 10 World Cup winners. I have looked at it, I have brought it back forward, and I've seen a situation and a pattern that I believe is going to get us a really good prediction for this particular one. You understand? So if you are going to be predicting the 2026 World Cup winner, the biggest mistake is looking at attacking talent. I know, it's crazy, but that's the biggest mistake. The historical data suggests that an elite defense is the strongest predictor who is going to win the World Cup. The last 10 World Cup winners from 1986 to 2002 all have this single thing in common, and I'm going to be breaking it down right now. So bear with me, strap up, and guys, lock in, because this is going to be the perfect model for you to predict the right winner of the 2026 World Cup in the US, in Canada, and in Mexico. Let's start with Let's start with 1986. Argentina won this. They scored 14 goals and they conceded only 5 goals in that year. That World Cup, they conceded only 5 goals. And guess what? They had a 9 of a goal difference. In 1990, it was West Germany. They scored 15 goals, conceded 5 goals, and it had a plus 10 goal difference. You go into 1994, it was Brazil with 11 goals, 3 goals conceded, and a plus 8 goal difference. In 1998, it was France, 15 goals scored, 2 goals conceded, 13 plus 13 goal difference. In 2002, Brazil yet again with 18 goals scored, 4 goals conceded, plus 14 goal difference, and that was how they were able to win it. In 2006, it was Italy with 12 goals scored, 2 goals conceded, 10 plus goals in terms of goal difference. In 2010, in South Africa, it was Spain with 8 goals scored, 2 goals conceded, and 6 in goal difference. For 2014, it was Germany with 18 goals scored, 4 goals conceded, and a plus 14 in goal difference. In 2018, it was France with 14 goals scored, 6 goals conceded, and a plus 8 in goal difference. And last but not least, the current champions, Argentina, with 15 goals scored and 8 goals conceded. That is the highest goal conceded that we have seen with a team winning a World Cup. And we all know that last World Cup was a special World Cup where we saw 4 goals, a 4-4 in the final, maybe a 4-3 in the final if I'm not mistaken. It was a special goal contribution in that particular World Cup, with Mbappe absolutely scoring a hat-trick in the final of the World Cup. But they still had a plus 7 goal difference. So what does that tell us? The data has been compiled in this situation by the FIFA tournament records and World Cup statistics, and there's summaries in this situation. So this creates a big pattern for me. Defense wins more often than attack. The average goals conceded by a champion since 1994, Brazil, is 3. France in 1998 is 2. Brazil in 2002 is 4. Italy in 06 is 2. Spain in 2010 is 2. Germany in 2014 is 4. And France in 2018 6. And last but not least, Argentina in 2022 is 8. So what we can absolutely say is that the average of 3.9 goals conceded in an entire tournament, which basically means it's about 0.55 per match. So 0.55 per match is what gives you that coveted golden trophy at the end of the day. That means most champions allow less than a goal per game. That was the model has absolutely told us. They allow less than a goal per game. So what about goals scored? The average goals scored by winners is 14 goals per tournament. But the range is huge. Spain won with only 8 goals in 2010. Brazil won with 18 goals in 2002. While Germany won with 18 goals in 2014. This tells us that you can win without being the best attack. You can almost never win without an elite defense. Let me say that one more time so people in the back can hear me. You can win the World Cup without being the best attack in the tournament. But you almost never win without an elite defense. It's quite simple. You understand? It's quite simple. So what every champions had, looking at the past 10 winners, number one, they had an elite goalkeeper. Argentina in 2002 had Emiliano Martinez, Emi Martinez. In France, 2028, they had Hugo Lloris. In Germany, 2014, they had Manuel Neuer. In Spain, 2010, they had Iker Casillas. 2, they had world-class midfield. Every champion controlled games through the midfield. Argentina had Enzo Fernandez and Rodrigo de Paul. In France, they had N'Golo Kante and Paul Pogba. With Germany, they had Toni Kroos. With Spain, they had Xavi and Iniesta. And 3, head but not the least, one flipping superstar. You absolutely need it. Nearly every winner had one transcendent player. In 1986, Argentina had Maradona. In 2002, Brazil had Ronaldo. In 98, France had Zidane. In 2010, they had Iniesta and Xavi. Not talking about David Villa. Not talking about David Silva. Not talking about Iker Casillas. In 2018, they had Mbappe emerging as one of the best players in this generation. And in 2022, they had Messi, arguably the GOAT. So one thing is for sure, the most predictive stat before a World Cup is quite simple. If you want a forecast of the champions, look at what the teams have. Look for the teams that have this particular metric and their importance. It's quite simple, and I'm going to use a 5-star system to tell you the importance of what you need to win a World Cup. First things first has to be goals conceded per game. That right there is a 5-star situation. You cannot allow a lot of goals per game. You won't win it. 2 is clean sheets, 5 stars. You absolutely want to get as much clean sheets as possible. 3, midfield control, 5 stars. It is absolutely paramount that you have a midfield that holds the ball. It is paramount that you have a midfield that can literally link the play. It is paramount that you have a midfield that is able to make sure that they stand in front of the defense without allowing any balls go past them. 4th is an elite goalkeeper. That right there is 5 flipping stars. And then we go to the fifth one, a superstar match winner. Now that drops a star, and I'm giving it a 4-star rating in this particular one based on importance. And finally, well, this is not the last one, goals scored. I drop that star and give it a 3-star because goals scored, like I told you in the last segment, you might not have the best attack, but you must have an elite defense to win a World Cup. And then we go into the next one, possession. This is what kills people because you think, a lot of English fans think, oh, Thomas Tuchel is not going to hold the ball. No. Possession is not absolutely needed. 2 stars for possession percentage. And finally, but not the least, FIFA ranking. Coming into the World Cup, you of course have a FIFA ranking. FIFA rankings never is the right prediction for who is going to win the World Cup. So that is one thing for sure. So those are my stars. Those are my importance. Those are my rankings on importance of how you win the World Cup. And so now let's start applying this model into the 2026 World Cup. The strongest candidates that have everything that I've just mentioned entering into the 2026 World Cup are as follows. Number 1 is flipping Spain. I know, it's crazy, but it is Spain in my mind. Why is it Spain? They have the best midfield in the tournament. That is clear. Clear in mind. You understand? Arguably anyway, because Portugal has a case for it. 2 is that they have a young superstar in Lamine Yamal. 3 is that they have very strong defensive structure that gives you one of the best things that you would absolutely need when it comes to winning a World Cup. 3 or 4 is that they won the Euros in 2024, and so they continued improving. And that right there is why they are my number 1 when it comes to predicting using this model on who is going to win the World Cup. Number 2 is France. Why? Because I'm going to give you why I have them in terms of the ranks. Number 2, of course, France. First things first is that they have an elite squad depth. You look down this flipping squad depth of France, it gets really scary. 2, their superstars are in their peak age. Think about Kylian Mbappe. Think about Michael Olise. Think about the Ballon d'Or winner in Dembele, Desiree Doué, Ryan Cherki. They are in their peak age superstars. They are hitting their peak, and that is one of the reasons too. 3, they still have Kylian Mbappe. Is of course one of the best performers when it comes to a World Cup, and we have to give him credit for that. And 4th is the consistency that France and Didier Deschamps has gotten to get into the final stages of the World Cup. They know how to do it, and I have to give them credit for that. The 3rd team in my rankings right now is Argentina. Why? Defending their champions. They do not allow things go past them. Defending champions, that's one thing for sure. 2 is that they have an elite defensive organization. They don't let balls pass the midfield. They also have a strong defense with Lisandro Martinez and Romero in that situation. And 3, last but not least, they have a winning mentality under Lionel Scaloni. Of course, I knew you guys were expecting me to say Lionel Messi, but we are not going to be putting that much pressure on a 38-year-old man. Is he a 38-year-old man or a 34-year-old man? 38-year-old man. We are not going to do that. Next, we go to 4th team in my rankings is Brazil. Why do we put Brazil in these rankings? They have a massive talent. The pool of talent, especially in their forward line, is insane. The likes of Ryan Hendrick, Vinicius Jr., Mateus Cunha, Rafinha, Neymar Jr. is truly remarkable. The depth in that talent pool is insane. And then you go to the next one. Historically, the most successful World Cup nation. When it comes to playing in the World Cup, you remember Cafu playing in 3 World Cups, winning 2. When you come about World Cup, you remember Ronaldo with that freaking haircut, celebrating, understanding the moment. When it comes about World Cup, you remember Ronaldinho smiling and chewing his gum. That is what they are known for. That is who they are. And that is what they are coming to prove yet again. And of course, they're South Americans, so they know how to handle the heat. Third, reasons why is the ceiling is higher than almost anyone if the defense hold up. Brazil's team, the ceiling is definitely higher than almost everyone. The defense is where they're weakest the most. And last but not the least, the fifth team is Portugal. Portugal, arguably the deepest midfield pool that we have seen in a long time. Think about the best midfielder in the world right now. You would think about Bruno Fernandes. Think about the second, Vitinha. Think about the third, João Neves. Think about the past in the likes of Neves, Fabian Ruiz. These are teams that absolutely have midfield for days. And then the second reason is, of course, they have an excellent defensive talent. They do. They do. And we are going to be breaking it down. These 5 things that I've just mentioned, before I even go into that, the last but not least is that they have a prime Bruno Fernandes who could be decisive for the World Cup. It's quite simple. I made a video about Bruno being a Ballon d'Or candidate, and I think he's going to show that in this World Cup. Just so you know, this is a series. So guys, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, hit follow button so you do not miss out on anything that we do here, and follow us on all platforms because short form content and long form content absolutely tie together to make this one of the best sporting content space that you will see on YouTube ever. For one thing is for sure, we are going to be breaking it down based on the squads, and we are going to be using our predictive formula to tell you who is going to win the World Cup. So if we are building a predictive brand and a predictive model for the last 10 champions, this is how it would weigh. Defense will be 40%. Midfield would be 25%. Goalkeeper will be 15%. Superstar factor will be 15%. And of course, last but not least, attacking depth will be 5%. While you're watching this, of course, I believe that the Brazil team is already out. The video on the Brazil team with this predictive formula would be already out. So make sure you guys go watch that and do not miss out on anything. Let me know what you think about that also in the comments. That formula, based on that, I will be giving you guys my ranking a little bit forward. And of course, I will be giving you guys my prediction a little bit later. But based on the rankings, my 5, Spain, France, Argentina, Brazil, and Portugal. Those are the 5 teams that I predict will go the furthest and have the best chance to win the World Cup. And I know a lot of people will be like, oh my goodness, why haven't you mentioned England? England are my 6th team. However, we are going to be breaking down, based on this predictive formula that I've just laid out, who I think is going to win the World Cup. I'll see you guys in the next one. Make sure you guys check out the Ultimate 2026 FIFA World Cup journal down below. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.